Hey, Dan Cucimillo here with NorCal Sports Network, wishing everyone a happy new year. We're going to do a little video this time on the San Francisco Giants and their rankings recently by Bleacher Report as the worst franchise in all of Major League Baseball for their minor leagues. But before we get started, let us thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Check out Chapman Law Group in the description of this video. And if everyone would give a like and subscribe, we would appreciate it. Like this video, make comments down below when we finish this video, and watch it till the end would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much. All right, San Francisco Giants fans, Bleacher Report just came out with their latest rankings at the very end of the year and have listed the San Francisco Giants as 30th out of all 30 teams. And if you follow Bleacher Report, you're aware of how they rank them is in tiers. Tier ones being a potential all-star. In fact, I'll pull that up for you guys and we'll take a look at their rankings. They rank them on potential as a player, talent, overall depth the team has. Having one or two elite prospects is great, but a deep farm system is the way to build a sustainable contender. Depth and talent were the biggest factors in ranking each team. And then they've got high-end talent team. There is a difference between a prospect who has a chance of making an impact in the majors and a prospect who could be a star. Elite prospects served as a tiebreaker when teams were close in the rankings. All right, so they come with a tier system. Tier one is prospects who have elite skill sets and all-star potential. This is the cream of the prospect crop. These players make up baseball or Bleacher Report's top 100 prospect list this offseason. Tier two, prospects who have a good chance of becoming impact contributors. These are the players who were in consideration for spots on Bleacher Report's top 100 prospect list and could end up there in the future. Tier three, prospects who profile as fringe MLB contributors or young players who are still too raw to project any higher. This tier represents the bulk of prospects around baseball, though more than a few could climb to the next tier. So teams were ranked based on the cumulative tier, ranked total of their top 10 prospects, and the rankings were then subjectively tweaked from there. All right, so let's take a look at the Giants. 30th out of 30 teams. We see Bryce Eldridge there as a tier one. He is definitely a tier one player, but then you go down to James Tibbs the third, he's tier two, and Carson Whisenhunt tier two, and then the rest of the 7 ball players that the Giants have in their top 10 all ranked tier three. And this is the problem. The Giants do not have enough tier one prospects, potential all-stars in their system like other teams do. And we'll take a look at some of these other teams in the top 10, including the LA Dodgers, who draft way, way behind the Giants, and yet they continue to develop tier one players through their scouting and through their development, while the Giants just continue to fade. Hopefully the recent change with Buster hiring of the recent hire for Buster Posey, hiring Randy Wynn to be the director of player development in the minors will have a big impact for San Francisco. I think it will over time, but the Giants just don't have the horses, everyone. You look at their players here. Tibbs is tier two, and then Whisenhunt, and then it drops down to tier three. Dakota Jordan, the power hitter out of Mississippi State, Joe Whitman, Grant McCray, Walker Martin, Reggie Crawford, former number one pick, and left-handed pitcher Jack Choate. So let me get rid of this thing there. After years of struggling to develop a position player talent, the Giants finally seem to be bucking that trend. Elliot Ramos put together a breakout 24 season. Heading into the new year, the farm system is headlined by recent first-round picks Bryce Eldridge and James Tibbs III, who both possess significant offensive upside. So you really have 2 players of worth, it looks like, in the, in that might make a difference in Eldridge and Tibbs. Eldridge, we could see as early as 25. Tibbs, probably likely in 26. Wisenhunt could make an appearance this year as well, but this team is far away. And if you look at what has built teams in the past when it comes to the Giants, you look at the 2000s, for example, that decade. They started off with Matt Cain early on in the decade, and then they built their pitching by drafting Lincecum, and then they drafted Mad Bum. And so they had 3 great starting pitchers to anchor that rotation for their 3 World Series championships. And then they also built around the infield. They had Buster Posey, drafted in 08, and Brandon Crawford as well. And then you had Pablo picked up in the international draft. And then you had Brandon Belt and Joe Panik. And then the Giants were hitting. Why? Because they had some rough years starting in 2005 season, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They were losing seasons, but they had higher draft picks and they hit on their picks. The Giants have not hit on picks for years. Really, their last big guy they hit on probably was Buster Posey. And now you've got the opportunity with Bryce Eldridge, but with baseball, it takes a while. And in any sport, your drafts are your key to being at the top. If you look at the rest of the top 10 and look at the tier ones that teams have. Remember, the Giants have 1 tier 1 prospect right there in Bryce Eldridge. Now let's fly all the way up to the top 10, and let me get rid of that. Top 10 here. Let's see. Okay, we're at 21. We're going to move a little further here. Okay, the Dodgers come in at 8. Look at the LA Dodgers. How many tier 1s do the Dodgers have? 4. They have DePaula, Dalton Rushing, Jackson Ferris, and Alex Freeland. And then they have more 2s. The Giants only had 2 2s, 1 1 and 2 2s. The Dodgers have only 2 3s, and they're ranked 8th. And then you look at the A's, for example, it's coming in at 7. They have 5 tier 1s. And then you look, I think the Rockies might have even come in at 10th. Yeah, the Rockies were 10th. The Colorado Rockies, 3 tier 1s to the Giants 1, and 5 tier 2s. Only tier 2, get tongue twister there, 2 tier 3s. So the Giants are stacked with 7 tier 3s in their farm system, and the Rockies will soon pass the Giants because that's how it works in sports. A couple years of good drafts, and it takes a while. In baseball, it takes the longest to really look at the change. You look at number 1 here is the Seattle Mariners. They come in with 6 tier 1s and no tier 3s. 6 tier 1s, no tier 3s. Why can't the San Francisco Giants do this? What has been going on? Farhan Zaidi was a complete disaster. I mean, if he wasn't the biggest fuster clock in sports, I mean, the Giants of all teams picked some guy like Farhan Zaidi to run their organization, brought him in to fix everything. And who do I blame for that? I blame one person. I blame Larry Baer. He's the guy that did it, and he stuck with him. And then he loses his position as the lead guy to make the decisions for the Giants, and it goes to Greg Johnson. And Greg Johnson is a guy who doesn't even care, doesn't show up to the ballpark. At least Larry Baer is a baseball fan, and he cares about the team, but he didn't obviously know what he was doing when he hired Farhan. And they kept Farhan in here for 6 years, and look what they've got. And now they got to fix this thing and put it all back together. Now, if you want to look at what a draft can do for a team, take a look at the 1981 San Francisco Giants. Yes, it's football. I mean, 49ers, San Francisco, it's football. But look at the guys that made a difference. Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, and Carlton Williamson, 3 defensive backs, all started as rookies, and it was a Super Bowl winning team. And then you got Pete Kugler in there that was a big difference maker he was a great nose tackle for the 49ers. So you look at things like that, your draft can help you. Baseball takes a little longer. It takes longer to develop because you're drafting guys that some of them are coming out of high school. It takes them 3-4 years to get to the big leagues. And then another great draft, probably the greatest draft in 49ers history, was the 1986 draft for them. They drafted Larry Roberts, defensive end, Alabama, and then Tom Rathman, Tim McKyer, John Taylor, Charles Haley, Steve Wallace, Kevin Fagan, Don Griffin, Tony Chair. I mean, the list went on and on. It was an incredible draft for the 49ers, and it led to more winning. In 87, the strike season, they were the best team, but then they got upset by Minnesota. Then in 88, 89, they win the Super Bowl. In 1990, they get upset by the Giants in the NFC Championship game, but they're there all the way through. That's what drafts do for you. This tells me the San Francisco Giants are a ways away, everyone, from actually really competing and sustainable competing, because you can get free agents but you can't continue to build your team through free agency. It has to be done as a combination with some free agency, sound trades, but the trades come from developing prospects. The reason the Dodgers have been able to make trades is because they've developed prospects and had top prospects that teams are interested. Why have the Giants not made any trades? People ask. Well, maybe it's because nobody wants their prospects. I would think they've got some prospects that could be dealt. They either have to play Marco Luciano and play Luis Matos or move off of them, because if you're not going to play these guys, their values just further deteriorate. The Giants have done a horrible job, absolute horrible job of developing and playing their players. How about Marco Luciano when he made his debut 2 years ago? And he makes his debut at Oracle Park, I think he got a hit that night early on, comes up in the 7th inning, Giants are leading, and Clownhead Farhan has Gabe Kapler pinch hit for Marco Luciano. What a way to treat your number one prospect. Tell him you don't believe in him. The Giants organization has been a mess, and they need to fix it. And I think they're on the right track with Buster Posey. I think he saw it. He moved back from Georgia and said, I can't stand watching this. I've had enough. He loves the team. He's part owner. He wants to fix this. It's going to take some time. Have some patience, everybody. I don't think 25 looks like a great season, but it could, if they do it right and they draft and develop, they could have another run in a few years. But I think the Giants are probably 2-3 years away. We'll see. We'll see if they make any moves, significant moves here. It's January 1st. Still got a month and a half before spring training. There's still players out there to be had. Do the Giants go after any of these guys? Pete Alonso, Anthony Santander. Do they go after Jack Flaherty? Do they land Roki Sasaki? I don't think they do. Let's hope they do. I don't think it happens. But they've got to do something, and it's going to take some time. No trades. Giants got to make some moves. Let's get aggressive, San Francisco. Start putting this thing together. And you're the 5th largest market in all of Major League Baseball. It's an embarrassment that you have the worst franchise or worst minor league ranking of any team in Major League Baseball. You've a 4th place finisher. You're under 500 team the last couple of years. Let's get this thing going. I think Buster's the right guy to do it, but I think it's going to take some time. But first order of business, start drafting and developing better. Let's see what happens. Tell me what you think of this, guys. Give us your comments down below. We really do appreciate that. We do read the comments, and we try to respond to them. Thanks for watching. Again, Happy New Year to everybody, and we will catch you on the next video. Take care.